Hello everyone, in this video we will solve a JEE Main's previous year question based on this inverse trigonometric function. Let us carefully understand the problem and learn how to approach this type of question. This question was asked in January 2026 session. Let's get started. Let us first carefully observe the problem. In question it is given that the domain of this function fx, function like that, is this interval, close interval alpha comma beta, and asked what is the value of alpha plus 2 beta. So first we write the function f of x, that is cos inverse 2x minus 5 over 11 minus 3x plus sine inverse 2x square minus 3x plus 1. So find the domain of this function. So in this case we want to find the domain of this indivisible function, then we intersect this domain, then we get the total domain of this function fx. So in this case we first find the domain of this cos inverse x. Now first we see these two functions, sine and cos function, are defined in first sine inverse x is defined minus 1 to 1 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and cos inverse x is defined minus 1 to 1, same domain and range is different, 0 to pi. So domain are same in the both sine inverse function and cos inverse function. So that means these values are lies between minus 1 to 1, and this value also lies between minus 1 to 1. So first we find this cos inverse x minus 5 over 11 minus 3x. First we find this domain of this function. That means 2x minus 5 over minus 11 over 11 minus 3x is lies between minus 1 to 1. That means modulus value of this function 2x minus 5 over 11 minus 3x is less or equal to 1. Then we multiply this modulus of 2x minus 5 is less or equal to modulus of 11 minus 3. In this situation, if we square the both terms, that will be the very easy to find the value of x. So we square 2x minus 5 is less or equal to 11 minus 3x. Therefore, if we break the square, that is 4x square minus 20x plus 25 less equal to 121 minus 66x plus 9x square. Now simplify it, then we get 5x square 46x plus 96 is greater equal to 0. Now we break it in this middle term, then we get 5x square equal to 30 plus 16x plus 96 is greater equal to 0. This implies 5x square minus 30x minus 16x plus 96 is greater equal to 0. So in this term we commute 5x, that is x minus 6, and this term is minus 16 is commoned out, so x minus 6 is greater equal to 0. This implies 5x minus 16 x minus 6 greater equal to 0. Therefore we got these two factors, 5x minus 16 into x minus 6 is greater equal to 0. Therefore we want to find the value of x from here. So we break this, suppose that is 16 by 5, that is x. These two values are the critical value of this function. So when this is greater equal to 0, these two functions, that means these values are lies this side or this side. That means x is lesser equal to 16 by 5 or x is greater equal to 6. Therefore the domain of this function is minus infinity to 16 by 5 union 6 to infinity. Next we want to find the domain of this sine inverse 2x square minus 3x plus 1. So that means 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is value is minus 1 to 1, because sine inverse x is from minus 1 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this value is lies between minus 1 to 1. So when we take this side, that is the lower bound found minus 1 less or equal to 2x square minus 3x plus 1. This imply 2x square minus 3x plus 2 is greater equal to 0. So when this is the quadratic terms and this is greater equal to 0, then we see the discriminant. Discriminant is equal to minus b square minus 4ac, that is equal to minus 9 minus 16 is equal to minus 7, is strictly less than 0. That means this term is strictly greater than 0. That means 2x square minus 3x plus 2 is strictly greater than 0. If we write this term as equal to y is equal to 2x square minus 3x plus 2, then we break it and we see that is y minus beta something, and that is x minus alpha square. So something like that we will got some constant is here. So if you see, this is the parabola and this alpha beta are the vertex. So it is like this. So this value actually is strictly greater than 0. So it is not touch the x-axis. That means this value is strictly greater than 0. So it is hold for all x. So for all x it is valid. All x, this 2x square minus 3x plus 2 is strictly greater than 0. So next we find this term is the upper bound. So upper bound is 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is less or equal to 1. This implies 2x square minus 3x is less equal to 0. This implies, so when we commute it, so that is 2x minus 3 is less equal to 0. Therefore these critical values are x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3 by 2. These are the critical value of this function. So when it's less or equal to 0, so if we see the value is when it lies between this interval, this is the strictly less than 0, because if we choose this value inside this somewhere, if and we put it here, this inequality hold, and when we choose outside this interval and put some values of this inequality, this is not hold. So when lies between x, when x is lies between 0 to 3 by 2, then this inequality is hold. Therefore the domain is 0 to 3 by 2. So both case we got the domain. First case we got the domain is case 1, we got the domain is minus infinity to 16 by 5 union 6 to infinity, and second case, that is case 2, we got the domain is 0 to 3 by 2. So domain of this actual function is when you take the intersection of these two domains, 16 over 5 union 6 to infinity, that is actually 0 to 3 by 2. In question it is given that the domain is alpha comma beta close interval. So we got the domain is like that. So we compare this value. So therefore alpha comma beta is equal to 0 to 3 by 2. This implies alpha is equal to 0, beta is equal to 3 by 2. And question asked what is the value of alpha plus 2 beta. Therefore alpha plus 2 beta is equal to 0 plus 2 times 3 by 2. That is 2 cancel, that is 3. So 3 is the correct answer. So if you see the option, first option is the correct answer, 3 is here. So overall the question we are just doing some function or cos inverse function and sin inverse function are given, that we find the domain of this function of f of x. So in this case we individually find this cos inverse this function domain and this sin inverse function domain, then we take the intersection of these two domain, then we get the actual domain of this function f of x, and that is we get 0 to 3 by 2. That is in the question it is given that is alpha and beta. We get from here we get alpha is equal to 0 and beta is equal to 3 by 2, and question asks what is the value of alpha plus 2 beta, that is 0 plus 2 times 3 by 2 is equal to 3. So this is the answer.